record and go live and say hello, you gorgeous souls. Thank you so much for joining us. And today we have the gorgeous Carly Thorpe. Now, Carly and I have known each other for a fair few years, but so that everybody gets to meet Carly. Carly, would you like to take a few moments and introduce yourself, Angel?
Thank you so much for having me here. Yes, so I'm Carly Thorpe. I'm a wellness coach and mentor here to teach and share well-being, self-mastery, cultivating radical self-care in today's chaotic world. So that is who I am and what I do in a nutshell. And as we talk more will be revealed.
Okay, so how you have a business, Vitality Naturally Holistic. So how was that born? Vitality Naturally Holistic. Have I got that right?
You have, yes.
Okay, so how was it born and what was your inspiration, gorgeous?
It's really interesting hearing you say it, because for me it rolls off the tongue, but every time somebody new hears it, it feels like it's a bit of a mouthful. So Vitality Naturally Holistic, it was born in the midst of a fairly major burnout.
Right.
And it came through, I say in the midst of, I think really once I'd reached the bottom of the burnout, it was then during the recovery process, and I was researching, applying and integrating like tools and techniques and learning knowledge that meant I was able to recover from that burnout in a really natural way. And I came to really understand the meaning behind that burnout, what led to it over many, many years. And as a result, Vitality Naturally Holistic was born. My previous world was actually in corporate and public sector procurement, completely unrelated to the health and wellbeing industry. And so I've done a complete 180. So the inspiration really came from discovering that this whole hidden world about our health and our well-being that didn't seem to be available in the mainstream. And it kind of became my mission to help others find the tools, techniques and knowledge they need to master their well-being. Because let's face it, today's world is pretty chaotic. There's always a lot going on for everybody. How do we maintain or create well-being? And what I mean by that is vibrant health and joy. How do we cultivate that in today's world? So that was kind of a bit of a wordy answer, but that's how it was born, and that's the inspiration behind it.
Sounds fab. So I'm sure a lot of people, me in particular, I can certainly identify with burnout in the corporate world. I did that myself, and I didn't realise you were in procurement, because I was too. So
there you go. There's a small world. I moved across a number of different categories, ranging from IT to professional services to libraries to all sorts. So
nice. Yeah,
did lots of various different things in that.
Oh, well, I did procurement, supplier development and apprenticeships. So we do all sorts of different things in our world, don't we?
It's a small world.
You mentioned right at the start about radical self-care. What does that mean, sweetheart?
That's a really good question. I've been kind of trying to find a succinct definition of it, and I'm not sure this is succinct, but this is where I'm at with it at the moment.
Let's go with it.
Ultimately, it is cultivating the conditions and circumstances internally and externally in your sort of inner and outer world that enable you to live a life you love whilst feeling vibrant and joyful, which in the high levels of stress we have today is a bit of a challenge.
We do.
And what that looks like is looking at your life on a physical, emotional, mental and spiritual level. So looking holistically at your life, living it consciously and learning and applying the tools, techniques and knowledge that enable you to cultivate those inner, that kind of inner and outer world. One of the key parts is really learning to listen to and understand the signs and signals of your body. We're taught that symptoms are a nuisance for us to just get rid of. But in actual fact, it's really meaningful messages. So for example, at the moment, I've got sinus challenges at the moment, which you may or may not be able to hear, but I know it's because I'm kind of up to here with packing boxes for moving house. So, you know, sinuses, we would say, what is it that you've had enough of? What is it that's irritating you? So we would start to explore that symptom in terms of what it might actually mean, rather than it just being random. So, but also it's cultivating a really loving relationship with yourself. And for a lot of people, there's going to be I don't know about that, loving yourself. And I understand, because I really kind of come through that myself. And there's a lot of healing that's involved in order to cultivate that self-love, because there's so much that we're taught and conditioned as we grow up that means that we shouldn't, you know. So and that's a whole conversation for another time.
Well, I totally get where you're coming from, Carly, because having gone through the burnout and not being aware of these alternative options for us, you know, I look back now, I'm going back a fair few years since I was in corporate, but you know, you get so washed up in deadlines and everything else, and self-care. I mean, even just the fact that I was working on 4 hours sleep a night every night, and I wasn't eating as healthily as I should have done, and I certainly wasn't doing any exercise. And then it came to the point where I sat in front of the doctor and said, it's one thing after another. I've had this, I've had this, I've had this, I've had this. But even then, I didn't realize it was my body and everything saying, slow down.
Yeah, slow down.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Please help me, is what your body was saying.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you say that about your doctor, because my personal experience was I was dismissed as having a midlife crisis. I was 37 at the time. And it's, you know, and it's just, there's so much more underneath this. And well, I'm delighted that you are as vibrantly healthy and happy as you are today. So you've obviously found your way through that burnout, and you found
definitely
the root cause for you.
Give you talk, that was the best way for me. Best thing I ever did was walk away from corporate life. Anyway, darling, for anyone wanting to start their self-care journey and they don't know where to start, have you got some hints and tips that you could share with them?
Absolutely. So it can feel like an absolute minefield at first, especially if you are experiencing high levels of stress and signs of burnout. For example, not sleeping well, feeling exhausted, brain fog, perhaps not able to compute things as well as you were, things feeling more overwhelming. So you might not know where to start in terms of self-care. So the very first thing is really to know that it's never too late to start. No matter where you're at, no matter your age or circumstances, you can always start making changes to how you care for yourself. I would really encourage and invite you to release the pressure that you're placing on yourself. And I'm speaking to everyone that's watching here, and release self-judgment. What I hear a lot is I should, I must, I haven't, I didn't. All of this is judging for these perceived or real things that we should or shouldn't have done. And that judgment damages self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence. So really try and notice where you're judging yourself and invite yourself to just let that go if you can. The third, I've got 5 tips, by the way. The third one is really, like you said, slowing down. Slowing down, finding pockets of time throughout your day to just sit and breathe and be still. You don't have to sit there for half an hour twice a day, although that's always a positive thing. Start with 3 minutes. Start with 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes at lunchtime, 3 minutes in the evening. Just give yourself those pockets of time to be slower. Also, number 4, take time out from the never-ending, ongoing onslaught of external information that we have that comes at us through technology, through social, through telly, through WhatsApp, through Messenger. All of it's just never ending. And not to kind of, I don't know if I'm showing my age here, but the days where we had telephone and you'd call someone and you'd have a chat once a week, like there's this expectation now to be immediately and constantly available, and that can be really overwhelming and jarring on the nervous system. So cultivate time where you are away from all of that, whether it's half an hour a day, 1 full day a week. Find what's right for you. And then number 5, which is might be something where support is needed, is really learning to listen to your body's inner wisdom. Start looking at, what's my body trying to tell me right now? And what I've found is the more I sit in stillness and breathe and listen, the answers come from inside. Yes, I've got reams of books and information that share metaphysical meaning behind these messages, but the answers really and truly, they're on the inside. So it's cultivating the conditions to hear that. I mean, the body that we have, this is the vessel that carries us through this lifetime. So, we've got to work with it, try and keep it as healthy as we can.
And picking up on what you said earlier, it's never too late to start to care for that.
Absolutely. And yeah, so that was 5 tips, but that is definitely the key one. Never, ever too late.
No.
And, the way that I work with people is to just meet them where they're at, start where they're at, and just go from there. Ultimately building a self-care toolkit, an alignment toolkit. What are the things that keep you in alignment with where you want to be in your life and what you want to cultivate? So that's what I support people to do, and coaching and mentoring them to identify those beliefs that are hidden underneath that say you're not worthy of this, or you can't have this, or that's not possible. Working through those, transforming them so that people believe that they can.
And what you do, you're really, really good at, sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
Really good at. So if you are listening and you would like to find out more about Carly, then please do jump into the Galentine Gala. It's totally free. And Carly is there. She's sharing more information. There's all her links on how to get in touch with her, how to make contact, and all her other goodies are in there, along with 28 other coaches as well. So there is something for everybody. The comment is in the link. The link is in the comment.
The link is in the incredible amount of resources on there. I think for pretty much anything that you might want to cultivate in your life, there might be something that will help you within
Definitely.
Carly,
it's been an absolute pleasure having a chat with you, sweetheart. It's ages since we spoke, and I can't believe we were both in purchasing. It's just phenomenal.
I know all the times we've known each other and not actually known that.
Yeah, and listening to you, it's brought back, I mean, like I said, it's years ago since I was in corporate, but it really has brought back thinking, well, that's how I was, that's how I was, that's how I was. So
and I know
what you offer is very much needed, sweetheart.
I've got goosebumps as you say that. I know there's so many people suffering out there. So
yeah. So jump into the Galentine Gala and go and find Carly. Okay,
find out more.
There. Radical self-care in a chaotic world. Go and find out. Carly, thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thank you, Stephanie.
No problem at all. And I hope to see you on another call soon. You look after yourself, Angel.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Bye.